I had the I don't understand. So at Hattie B's, Nashville, we're talking about Nashville hot chicken. I had they have the with the southern, which is like zero spice, the mild, the medium, the hot,
Uh-huh.
and then they jumped to like a different hot scale,
Uh-huh.
like the damn hot, and then the something, cluck something. I don't know how people do that. I don't know how people do that. Like I'm gonna go to lunch and burn a hole in my stomach.
Right, right.
All
Well,
right,
they
Tiff,
do.
Doctor Tiff.
Hey, how are you, Jim? I'm so happy we got you on the back end of a beach trip. That means you're nice and ready for this today.
I am a little bit lobster, a little red. Hi, Dr. Tiff. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Hi, Tanya. We got people coming in. Hi, Tanya. Welcome to our live stream. My name is Jim. This is Dr. Tiff. And man, I'm excited about today, Dr. Tiff. I'm really excited about today. We got some great guests lined up. But for those of you that are just now coming in, my name is Jim, and I used to be a type 2 diabetic. And when I say I used to be a type 2 diabetic, I mean I used to be a type 2 diabetic. I had it. I had a 12.2% A1C. I had high blood pressure. I had high cholesterol. I had all the stuff, and I don't anymore. I don't. And so I'm completely unmedicated. My doctor told me I could come off the meds. And I'm living my best life right now. And I went to TikTok, social media, and started talking about the Feel Great system, which is what we're going to go into detail about, and started talking about it. And now I've helped no fewer than 100 people reverse type 2 diabetes too. Bunch of people losing weight, bunch of people coming off their blood pressure medications, bunch of people coming off their cholesterol medications
Yes,
at
yes.
their doctors. They're talking to their doctors. But what an amazing ride. A lot of people finding, you know what, Dr. Tiffany, the coolest thing is people, I find that they get helpless and hopeless. They feel like they've
Yeah.
lost kind of control. And then there's like this new light that kind of comes
Mhm.
out. And that's been the coolest part of this entire thing is if you are feeling helpless and hopeless, then stick around for this live stream. Dr. Tiff, introduce yourself.
Well, hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tiffany Marie, is what I like to go on, refer to myself on social media. But I am a real medical doctor, board certified in family and lifestyle medicine. And I am literally about trying to get people off of their medications. I'm tired of riding them. I'm not riding them anymore. How about that? I'm not. But so I was practicing family medicine for about 20 years. I was the doctor you came to when your sugars were higher, when you're feeling bad, and I did the labs, and I was like, "You have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you have high cholesterol." That was me. And for the last 3 years, I was even doing virtual primary care, doing the same thing over the computer, but across 48 states. And so I saw firsthand how awful our metabolic health is. And we'll go into that later. So I decided, you know what, there's got to be more than this. So I went back to get educated in lifestyle medicine, which is about going after the root causes of conditions and learning how to use our lifestyle to reverse these things. And honestly, people needed tools to help them do that. So when I got connected with somebody we both know on social media who showed these natural products that can actually help these people do these lifestyle changes, I said, why not try it? If it doesn't work, what's the big whoop? I tried it. I was able to get off of my blood pressure medicine after 2 months. I was able to stop having hot flashes. I no longer have to take my seasonal antidepressant. I have a mom who is able to reverse her prediabetes, who has multiple sclerosis, no longer dragging her leg, wears her heels again, and plays pickleball. Yes. And I have a brother I was able to help get out of ICU and get off his insulin, his Trulicity, his metformin, just by doing these natural products. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm over here stumbling over my words. I'm just too excited.
Seasonal depression. Every week I feel like there's something new I didn't know about you, Dr. Tiffany. And
I'm one of those people. I got to slowly bring down the walls, bring down the walls.
I am fascinated. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm fascinated with that aspect of this because I've had a lot of that get better myself. And I did a little bit of research on Dr. Cynthia Culkin. Have I told you about her at all?
Yes.
She's a psychologist who explored the connection between bipolar treatment disorder and insulin resistance, which Dr. Tiffany is going to talk about insulin resistance here shortly. But bipolar treatment disorder, and really it dealt with the blood-brain barrier and totally fascinating, really, really fascinating. Anyway, yeah, check it out. That was actually my most viral video, and I've noticed that I have had that dark cloud every now and then it decides to come sit over my head, but it goes away pretty quick. It goes away a lot easier than it used to. So, folks, if you have been invited to this live stream, good evening, Salem. If you have been invited to this live stream, as in if you've been tagged, you got a notification that you're here, or somebody shared it with you, that's because they think the information that we're going to share in this could benefit you. So stick around. It's only an hour. We promise to be entertaining. We promise to give some great testimonials. Dr. Tiffany promises to explain everything that could go wrong. I promise to be the smile. If you've been invited here, stick around it's only an hour, and it is very informational. In fact, I had a friend of mine reach out to me today and said she was going to get onto the system because of this live stream. That's really, really cool. So stick around and listen. There's nothing wrong with listening. There's no commitments with listening. There's just learning involved with listening, and maybe you learn something. So if you have been tagged, that's where it is. And if you decide you want to order the products, just get with the person who invited you to this, and they'll tell you how to order the product. It's that simple. Just get with them. They'll tell you how to do it. And then if you are one of these people that's just had this amazing result, there is a referral discount. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but if you refer, that's the way this thing works, is referrals. Yep. If you refer somebody the product and they decide to order, you'll get $10 in product credit every time they do that. So that's kind of a cool deal too. So if you are excited about this, then invite somebody in here. And in fact, I want to challenge everybody that's listening right now to invite 5 people. And for those that are on Facebook, it's pretty simple. Just type the @ symbol, that little @ symbol right there, and then start typing their name. And as you type their name will eventually populate, and then hit enter. Done. They're tagged. And they'll get a notification. Let them know that this is here. So if you got the notification, go ahead and listen. Somebody cares about you. And if you decide you want to order it, get with that person. They'll tell you how to order it. If you're just excited about it, tag somebody. 5 people. Let's go for 5 people. Everybody get 5 people. And then last week, Dr. Tiffany, you told me I should share where this thing is going out to. Yes. And I meant to, and I forgot to. So right now, we are live on Twitter, multiple Facebook accounts, D Live. You ever heard of D Live? YouTube, Twitch, MX Cloud, Mixcloud. That's the Microsoft one. We are live on a lot of different platforms. In fact, Daily Wire, you name it. We're on Rumble. We're on all of the all the different platforms right now. So if you have a friend, they say, I don't have Facebook. That's okay.
That's good.
Send them to YouTube. If you have somebody who, I don't have YouTube, well, they're wrong. Everybody has YouTube, but we're on TikTok. We are live everywhere right now, and it's every week, 8 p.m. Eastern. And you can find me at the Healthy Pit Master on every major platform. So if it's YouTube, if it's TikTok, if it's Facebook, the Healthy Pit Master. And Dr. Tiffany, where would people find you?
As Dr. Tiffany Marie on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. That sounds right. Twitter, Threads. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say Instagram too. We're live on Instagram.
Yep.
Okay. So Dr. Tiffany, you tell me who's going first.
I don't know. I love my story. I don't really know your story.
I'm going with Denise first because I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know Denise's story. I know it a little bit. I know it a little bit, but not as well as I'd like to.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Hi, Denise.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, the mic is yours. How did we meet, or how did you come across this? Where were you at? Where are you at now?
Okay. Well, I've been on like a statin and blood pressure medicine for probably 15 years. And then about a year ago, when I went to the doctor for my wellness check, my A1C was 6.5. So the doctor said that it would be best if I go on metformin. but I really didn't want to. I went ahead and did it. But as soon as I got home, I thought to myself, I'm going to see if I can find something else to do instead of the metformin. So I just started researching, and I was looking at TikTok, watching TikTok, and I ran across a couple people talking about this system, and I kept watching and watching. I probably watched for a month. And then finally, I decided to try it. I started in July of 2024, and the first couple weeks, I noticed I noticed that I had a lot more energy, and I was already losing some weight, a little bit of weight. And then I went back to the doctor in October, so that had been like my 3 months. And my A1C had went down to 6.0 in that time. And another thing I also noticed was that my cravings were going away. I used to always go to fast food. I'd want McDonald's Cokes. I'd want sweet tea. And I just wasn't craving it anymore. And one day I bought me a McDonald's Coke thinking, oh, I'm going to drink this just for old time's sake. But I could only drink like a fourth of it, and I couldn't even get it down. So that was really good. And then, so then I noticed like in January, and I wished I would have had a picture, but I didn't think to take a picture, but I had skin tags. And in January, I noticed they were gone. And I was like, where's the skin tags? They're just gone. So that was pretty exciting too. But probably the best thing is, I would say, my severe dry eyes I've had for probably 5 years. And I've struggled and struggled and struggled trying to eye drops and getting treatments done, and different eye drops and more treatments. And I went and got this special lid treatment done that cost me $700 out of pocket. The insurance wouldn't pay it because they said it's cosmetic, and it didn't work. So there was one day in January, I forgot to do my eye drops. I forgot to put them in. And I thought, oh, my symptoms weren't here anymore. I used to have itching eyes, watery eyes all the time. And so I noticed that the symptoms weren't here anymore. So the next day I thought, well, I'm just going to skip my eye drops and see what happens again. So the next day, still no symptoms. So since January, I haven't done any eye drops. And the eye drops that I were taking was $100 a month out of pocket. So right there, I'm saving my my $159 a month. So I know they say, a lot of people say that it costs too much, but I'm saving way more than I'm spending.
So I gotta admit, I was a little naive to dry eye. I've never even heard of that before, but the way that you describe it, when we were talking the other day, your eyes would just start like watering. Explain the symptoms of dry eye. I mean, you said itchiness, but you said it was like you were crying all day long, right?
Yeah, I had to pretty well keep a Kleenex with me all the time because I always had to dab my eyes because they just watered all the time. I think people just always thought I was crying. My eyes just watered all the time, nonstop. So I just kept a Kleenex in my pocket. Then at night is when they got really itchy, and I would, want to rub them, and they were just, I don't know, just really uncomfortable. Felt like I had sand in my eyes, kind of. So
yeah, I would like to get Dr. Erica and to just get her the doctor or the ophthalmologist, to kind of get her opinion on what this. And I'm sure Tiffany, I'm not to take away from you. I'm sure you can make the connection there too. But Dr. Erica being an eye doctor, I'm just curious what she would say about that. If she's ever seen that.
So I mean, I wasn't really expecting any of that with the dry eye. That just was kind of like something that just happened out of the blue that I wouldn't have even thought about. So
that's awesome.
That is
awesome.
Pretty excited.
Okay, so I want to jump over and I guess before I transition over to Dr. Tiff, do you have anything you wanted to ask? And that was kind of crazy, huh?
No, I mean, all those symptoms are all like, wow. I love the skin tags. She was like, I didn't take a picture. And next thing you know, no skin tags. That's usually how everybody is. They're like, that's not part of this. I'm not even going to worry about it. Then you wake up, I don't have skin tags anymore. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But okay. I know one thing I have been very consistent every day since July when I started. I've drank the 2 teas and at least 1 fiber per day.
It's a pretty simple process, to be honest.
And it's the easiest thing I've ever done.
Just wake up and drink these teas. They make you feel
good.
Wake
up and make my tea.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Denise, I absolutely loved every bit of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shut off your camera here and transition over to Dr. Tiffany to go through and kind of explain to everybody kind of what this problem really is. But I'd like to bring you back at the end of the live stream, if I could, for anybody that might have any questions for you. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Dr. Tiffany.
Yes.
What gives?
Yeah, what gives? I mean, it'd be crazy if I said I didn't know. But unfortunately, I know all too well what's the problem. All too well. But I love to hear these stories every time. I don't think that ever gets old. I love to hear the stories and see the text. Never gets old. Never gets old. Okay, the problem. We're talking about metabolic health, poor metabolic health at that. The Tufts University study that this is referencing was done in 2022, and it said that only 7% of Americans are actually healthy, actually have good cardiometabolic health. That says a lot because you have so many people that walk around thinking, I'm the healthiest girlfriend you know. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And then, so in order to try to fix this problem, the statins arose as a way to try to treat and try to decrease cardiovascular risk, but it only helps 1 out of 100 people. But you know what helps 39% out of 100 people, 39 out of 100 people? Changing the lifestyle, making those changes. And so when we're talking about cardiometabolic health, there's lots of conditions that fall under this. Diabetes is one. And the 30.3 million is diabetes, and that includes type 2 and type 1, but type 2 has risen so high. And then you have 1 out of 10 people that are dealing with diabetes, and 1 out of 4 don't even know they have it. And then pre-diabetes. This is before we diagnose diabetes. This is when your A1C is 5.7, and in between that to 6.4. Type 2 diabetes, we diagnose you when your A1C is 6.4 and above, okay? So 84.1 million people, 1 out of 3 adults have pre-diabetes, but 9 out of 10 don't know they have it. That's 9 out of 10 people thinking they're the healthiest girlfriend you know. Okay, and then heart disease. This is crazy that this is still the #1 killer, and it was the #1 killer 30 years ago. So clearly, we aren't doing something right. And so for 20 years, I called myself being a great doctor. I was following all the guidelines, all the things I need to do. When you have type 2 diabetes, here's the first line drug. Yeah, we talk about the lifestyle changes, but let's be real. I didn't think they were going to do them. I'm just going to be honest. I stopped believing in it. I would send people home with some things to do. And to be honest, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to keep them consistent. And so after 3 months, I'd say, come back 3 months. They still needed a medication because they weren't able to latch onto the lifestyle changes. So I had people just like this lady here with all these meds walking in there, looking a mess, feeling a mess. And I wasn't really helping her. So I went to get to the root causes of conditions. And really, we aren't bound by our genetics. I think I like to look at genetics as the land you're being given. Okay, you're left with this land, right, from your family. How you till that land, your lifestyle determines what type of fruit and crops you yield. I mean, if you till it and kill it and do whatever the heck you want to do with it, well, yeah, you're going to have a barren land. But if you put forth the effort and invest in your health, that changes everything. And so understanding what's at the root cause of all these conditions, that we actually have the control to reverse these things. Insulin resistance is at the root. And so diabetes, heart disease, cancer, fatty liver, polycystic ovarian syndrome, dementia, migraines, that body fat center around the middle, we can change our lifestyle to improve these things and reverse them. I mean, look at Jim. He's a good example of reversing his type 2 diabetes, going from having it uncontrolled to not having it. So it's important to understand the symptoms. So if you're someone who's dealing with insulin resistance, having those cravings for sugar or salty things, yeah, you have that because your insulin's too high in your bloodstream. It's not letting glucose in. It's like a bouncer at the door. It's not letting the glucose in. And so your cells literally are hungry. Your cells literally want to eat. And then because you have an insulin resistance of your brain, you're having the brain fog, the anxiety, depression, the fatigue, especially that itis after the meals, the difficulty losing weight around the middle, and then those dreaded skin tags. I mean, I just did a live on this today. Those skin tags are not genetic. They're not supposed to be there. They're there because the insulin levels are too high, and insulin starts to act like a growth hormone and grows those little skin tags. They're kind of hanging off your skin. They get caught on your hair, your necklaces, your clothes. Yeah, that's not supposed to be there. That's not genetic. And then the skin flaps, the skin layers of skin, they give you that darker skin and those patches under your neck, under your eyes, under your arms. That's there because of overgrowth of the skin cells. The other symptoms, irregular cycles, polycystic ovarian syndrome, ED for real. That's my doorknob complaint that my men would do. I'd be about to grab the doorknob, getting ready to get out the door. And they're like, oh, by the way, Dr. Tiffany, I'm having problems with, time with my wife. And I'd be like, can you just say that earlier? But the point is, when you have insulin resistance and how it affects the blood vessels, it bothers that too. These are real quality of life issues that get affected. So what is insulin resistance? Insulin is a hormone that our body already makes. But insulin has a lot of jobs. We're going to talk about its job and how it delivers energy into the cells and how it stores that excess glucose as fat and regulates blood sugar levels, okay? And then insulin resistance, this is a condition where your cells don't respond to insulin anymore. Insulin is that bouncer at the door, and your cells have stopped letting the glucose come in, bottom line. So what causes insulin resistance? Too much insulin in the bloodstream. What causes too much insulin? The things we put in our mouth. So by this global nutrient database, we see that about 3/4 of what people are eating across the world are carbohydrates. And that matters because carbohydrates gets broken down into a lot of glucose, much more than protein, and fat doesn't. So carbohydrates going to elicit a larger insulin response by your pancreas because its job is to get the glucose into the cells. Protein's going to elicit a smaller response, and fat's going to barely cause anything because it doesn't really break down into much. And so you don't have any insulin release. So how do we get there? How did we get here? What did this? Well, we had that food pyramid that told us we need to eat 6 to 11 servings of carbohydrates a day. We need to eat every couple hours. So here's a good example. You wake up and this dotted line is your insulin level, right? Well, it's low because you've been fasting all night. You haven't been eating unless you're one of those weird people that get up in the middle of the night and snack. So your insulin level's low because it hasn't had any reason to go up, right? You have your breakfast, and if it's carbohydrate rich, your pancreas is going to start kicking out that insulin like nobody's business. And it's going to overshoot some. So your glucose is going to drop a little bit. And a couple hours later, you're hungry again. And if you're grabbing those carbohydrate snacks, like maybe a Nutri-Grain bar or maybe some candy, you're going to kick up that carbohydrate again, the glucose, and then the insulin. And then lunch comes around. You're trying to be a little healthy. You get your Subway sandwich with your white bread. Well, you don't have as much fiber in that white bread. So it's a bunch of carbohydrates. Okay. Or you do something else. Say you get pizza. Say you get a wrap. You still are eating a good amount of carbohydrates if that's not whole grain. And so that's going to kick up your carbohydrates, then the insulin. And then same thing for that afternoon pick-me-up because you need it now because all those carbs you ate at lunch. Then same thing for dinner. And then, oh my goodness, if you have dessert. I mean, yes, you see how the insulin levels just keep rising and rising and rising and never come back down to where they were at baseline? That's what happens. And your cells are bathed in that insulin. Eventually, they stop listening to it. The problem is our carbs have been stripped of their fiber. That's our modern day food environment. So you have a lot of most of us eat the wild white rice as opposed to the wild rice. Not too many people love this, but in nature, these carbs were supposed to have this fiber to dampen the effect because we need it for our digestive health. It helps keep your digestive system running smoothly. It helps you feel full longer. It aids in weight control because you feel sated, but also it gives you the blood sugar control. So it allows your pancreas not to have to work as hard. And it's really not your fault entirely. I mean, these processed foods are killing us. They're killing us. They don't have the fiber in it, so you can actually eat more and more and more. That's why you can't eat just one. And then they've become high in sugar, so they can become addictive. They kick off that dopamine reward system. So you eat something sweet and your dopamine shoots up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm high, literally. And that's a sugar high, right? You drop because insulin drops and brings your sugar too low, but you want this stuff again. You're craving it. That's our modern day food environment. That's what we're living in. So what's the best way to try to fix these issues? One, try to eat more of a low carb, low glycemic index diet. I like to put it this way. Focus on protein and veggies first. That way, by the time you get to your carbohydrates, you're not going to want to eat much of them. So I get to win anyway without making you think you're depriving yourself. And then avoiding the processed carbs and foods because nobody needs to eat those anyway. Nobody. They're not real food, some of them. And our body processes fake foods to where it stores it as fat because it's like, what is this? What am I supposed to do with that? So nobody needs to eat that. Then exercise, strength training, huge, because when we build our muscle, that brings the glucose into the cells and out of the bloodstream. So insulin does not have to even deal with that. And then high fiber, because that dampens the effect of the sugar. Like we said, helps with digestive health. And then time-based eating. Time-based eating or intermittent fasting, because time-based eating specifically is not snacking between meals or after dinner. Where intermittent fasting, you're actually missing a meal, maybe going 16 hours, 18 hours, even 24 hours. And you actually give your body a break when you do that. You tap into your body's natural healing power when you go past 16 hours. It's called autophagy. And that's when your cells actually regenerate themselves. And when you give your gut a break, it gets to regenerate. And so your brain likes ketones, which is what happens when you go into fat burning and you're not doing a glucose burning as much. Your brain likes that. So then you're focused, you're clear. It's just a way to actually heal our own bodies by tapping into our body's natural healing process. And so, I went over this with all that talking, didn't I? Okay. So what if I told you there were things that made those 5 things easier? GLP-1, that hormone we were already given, but we stopped listening to it. Either from our lifestyle, the foods we ate, the medications we took, the hormone stopped having its power. And so it reduces cravings, it balances blood sugar, it improves digestion. So if you're having those issues with the cravings and overeating, this helps. Difficulty managing your weight and energy crashes. Having your natural GLP-1 function better helps you. And Big Pharma figured this out. And so when they made this GLP-1 shots to help with type 2 diabetes and they saw weight loss, they said, okay, I got to capitalize on that. And all that does is it binds to a receptor trying to pretend like it's your GLP-1. But it does it at such an astronomical rate that it has all these other side effects with it. Blindness, gut paralysis, gut perforation, a hole in your gut. You kind of need your gut not to have a hole in it, right? What was the other thing? Thyroid cancer, abdominal pain, nausea. It's just enough. It just comes with baggage. And then after a year of taking this, you end up decreasing your muscle and your bone, which is huge because we need those things, right? And then after 2 years, the reason why you're taking it is to kind of decrease those sweet cravings. It stops. And so you have people that need more dosages or they need a different medication altogether. So what's the natural solution? The tea we like that we're going to go into. It has chlorogenic acid, ferulic acid, and those 2 things actually help boost GLP-1, which is huge. Boost your natural GLP-1, not the stuff that comes with baggage, okay? Then you have the theobromine and the saponins that are also in that yerba mate extract tea, and the theobromine dilates blood vessels, and they both help with your mood and help with the cravings too. And then your short-chain fatty acids, that's in the fiber, because that ends up getting broken down and actually decreasing inflammation, as well as the soluble fiber. It's huge. It's huge. So why am I speaking up on this live like I have nothing else to do? There's great science behind this, the studies, and the fact that we get these types of results. I mean, we get people telling us all the time, but there's so many people with good results besides just me and my friends and my family. And you know what? I kind of like feeling like a superhero. So I think I hit the problem. I think I hit the solution. And I think I hit how cool that my little superhero picture is. To you, Jim.
Look at this. Superhero. You know what? Not all heroes wear capes, Dr. Tiffany.
I know. So true, but she does.
You touched on something right there, and I guess I should have pulled up the study. Maybe I'll look for it while Carolyn is giving her testimonial here coming up. But you mentioned gut paralysis, gastroparesis.
Yeah.
I have a study that suggests it was an observational study, but it was 5.1% of the people on semaglutide got that. And so I would ask the question, hey, if it's not really reversible, gastroparesis is a lifelong thing, right? And if I was to say, hey, if there was a 1 in a million chance for you to get that, I think most people would say, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. I'll try it. You know, what if I said it was a 1 in 100,000 chance of getting that? You might a little bit more hesitation, but still 1 in 100,000 is still pretty good odds, right? What if I said 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 100? When it gets to 1 in 100, people are like, I don't know about that, right? 5.1% is 1 in 20.
Yeah.
1 in 20 get that. It is such a big number. And then some of the other side effects. Another study I have that showed that a 58% increased risk in thyroid cancer and a 78% increased risk of medullary thyroid cancer.
Yeah.
These side effects are real, and it's not like here and there. It's like real. They're like big problems, and there is an all-natural solution. That's the crazy thing you can't medicate a lifestyle disease.
Yeah.
And that's what we're learning is that all of this can be controlled by what you put in your mouth.
Yep.
Tell us about Carolyn.
Oh my goodness. So, I mean, this woman right here, I love how some people they learn something and they're like on the rooftop screaming. That's her. That's her. And her energy is infectious. You know, she was at the Method for some of you that have been able to meet her, and her personality, you just want to be around her. And that's how people are. They want to hear, you know, what she's talking about. And her story is so big. I'm not even touching on that. So I'm gonna let Carolyn just go and take it away.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Tiffany, and thank you, Jim, for having me on. But I'm so excited. Anytime I can tell my story, it's just so, I just feel it's so heartfelt for me to be able to help people because there's others who are going through and don't know what to do. So my health journey started in 2009 when I was diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer. I was 48 years old, and I was told that I only had a 20% chance of living after 5 years. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do everything I can to try to live. So I went through a whole health journey, start eating more plants and vegetables, and I was doing really well. And then a few years ago, for some reason, I started gaining weight. And that was concerning to me because I knew that if I could continue to gain the weight, that the fat cells would secrete all the inflammation that could cause a recurrence of the breast cancer. So I was, I don't know what's happening, but I'm scared. And then I got this double belly. I've never had a double belly. Like, where did this come from? And then I was diagnosed with scar and alopecia, autoimmune disease. I've been a nurse for 42 years. I work at a hair loss center as their health coach. I'm helping women grow their hair back. And I can't, mine is coming out. I'm right now, I'm one of their customers. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then I realized my cholesterol was up. Now I'm plant-based. I do eat a little meat, but not much. But my cholesterol went up. Never had that issue before in my life. And I also was diagnosed with spinal stenosis. And if anybody know about spinal stenosis, it's horrible. Like pain in my back, go down my leg, neuropathy, numbness and tingling in my feet at night. When I would try to go to sleep at night, my feet would just be so numb and hurt so bad. It was horrible. And I was like, God, what is going on? I was like, I need a solution to this. And lo and behold, that solution came right around July of last year, 2024. And when I started the protocol, now I was introduced by another person who was so dear to me and with another health journey I was on. And they told me about it, and I was like, okay, I'm game, I'm ready. And within the first week, I lost 5 pounds. I'm like, what? I've been trying to lose this weight for 2 years. I've been going to the gym, been walking, and it didn't budge, until that first week, 5 pounds. And then I noticed because I had been eating a lot of Motrin just to have some relief from the back pain. And I knew I couldn't continue that because it would hurt, mess up my stomach, my kidneys, and I didn't want that. And so I usually have to pre-medicate before I clean my house because I would be in so much pain. And I remember one day I got ready to clean the house and I said, I need to go take my Motrin. I forgot to take the Motrin. And I realized I wasn't hurting anymore. I was like, oh my goodness, the pain is gone, the inflammation is going away. And then within 3 months of being on the protocol, I had lost 25 pounds. I lost over 20 inches. My cholesterol is now normal. I don't have any belly fat anymore. And I'm just so excited. And I just didn't even know that that was from insulin resistance because of low estrogen. And I'm like, what the heck? I had not, even being a nurse, I guess if I heard insulin resistance, kind of went over my head. But didn't even really know what insulin resistance was until I became a culprit and then realized what had happened. And so I'm living my best life now. Before I told my husband we can't go on long trips because I can't sit long, I can't stand long. But now I am ready to travel. I'm so excited to have my life back. So excited. So if anybody's on the fence, this stuff really, really works. And like I said, I tell everybody I know in the grocery store, I tell it because I know for myself how much better I feel, and nobody wants to be sick, and nobody wants to feel bad. And I want everybody to feel like I feel, and I feel great. Thank you.
Yes.
I love that. I love how inspirational you. I feel like you lifted me. I wanted to make a connection here, okay? And I'm by no means suggesting that our product does anything with cancer, okay? But to build on kind of some of the things that we just learned about the connection between insulin resistance and a lot of different things, I did a post quite a while ago, and I want to share this. It's on my Healthy Pit Master page, and I don't know, can you see that there? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. This systematic review found, by the way, systematic review kind of looks at all of the bodies of research. It looks at like all of the different research that's been done on a particular topic. And this systematic review found that women with insulin resistance face a higher risk of developing breast cancer, as well as poorer survival outcomes. It's a powerful reminder of how important it is to address the lifestyle risks that cause insulin resistance, regardless of whether you've been diagnosed with diabetes. And if you'd like, there is the link to it, PubMed ID 35145826. But it really brings up the point that, Dr. Bickman would say that if it's not really something that's transmissible, like a cold or a flu, it probably has some sort of a connection to insulin resistance. So you hear all these stories about inflammation and arthritis. I mean, I haven't had arthritis problems in 2 years. But then you start digging a little bit deeper and you start to realize that, hey, what if there was a connection between your breast cancer and thank goodness you're okay. But
Yes.
it's amazing to me the number of people just through this that I have found that are diabetic, women who were diabetic who have also fought breast cancer.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
that
And
was
I do want to say that my hair, I don't have to do a comb over anymore. I used to have to look in the mirror and I used to have to comb over those thin areas. But now those areas are filling in and I also have new growth coming here. So my hair is coming back.
well, and now, so since you went there, let me do one more. Here we go. So this is on my Facebook page, on the Healthy Pit Master Facebook page. If you just go down to the search, right? I'm going to hit search and the androgenetic alopecia. There you go. Could your sugar be causing your hair loss? There's a connection right here. A recent study found early onset androgenetic alopecia, which is pattern baldness, is strongly associated with metabolic abnormalities. Your hair loss could be a warning sign of deeper issues like insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. So once again, I mean, and there again is the study. If you ever wanted to go and check it out, it's amazing the number of things that are connected to this. But then it really does make sense. Like, hey, if you're not fueling the cell properly, like what could go wrong, right? That's like the building block of life. And if we're not doing that right, then Carolyn, that was amazing. Very inspirational.
Yes.
Just like
Thank you.
Denise, I'd like to invite you back towards the end of the live stream to take any questions from the audience. If anybody has any questions, is that cool?
Yes.
Thank you, Carolyn. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I could totally geek out on the science, Dr. Tiffany.
Yeah,
So-
I know. But that's what I love, though. That's what I love. And I know everybody else loves it too. I'm a nerd too. So I'm like, say it, Jim.
Yeah, and I do. I like to really go and find the connections. People will ask, "What about this? What about this?"
Yep.
Well, is it related to insulin resistance? And really, it's so simple. That's what we're really doing is addressing insulin resistance. So, with that in mind, Dr. Tiffany talked about it was the spiking of the glucose that then causes the spiking of the insulin, the hyperinsulinemia. Elevated insulin. So the hyperinsulinemia is what causes the cell to stop responding. You're basically bathing the cells in insulin and they stop responding as a result. So as you become more and more and more hyperglycemic, you're also becoming more and more and more hyperinsulinemic. And it's this nasty little hamster wheel where insulin resistance causes hyperinsulinemia, and then hyperinsulinemia causes insulin resistance. And how do you get off of that train, right? So the first thing you want to do is, just like Dr. Tiffany said, kind of stop spiking the insulin. Well, and how do you stop spiking the insulin? Well, you stop spiking the glucose. Just reverse engineer this entire thing. It's really simple. And so balance, that leads me into balance. What is balance? Well, there are two different products to the protocol. And of course, Dr. Tiffany's already talked about intermittent fasting. So balance. This old thing here was developed as BioSlife. I like to pull up my packet here. BioSlife. So developed by Rexall Pharmacy. A lot of you may or may not remember Rexall Pharmacy, but in the late 80s, they were founded in 1903. They've been around quite a while, 122 years. But in 1989, they started developing BioSlife. Now, BioSlife was a patented blend of both fiber and multivitamins, specifically 7 different plant-based fibers, and then a multivitamin, a full B complex, riboflavin, niacin. It's a full multivitamin. They put those two together. And that led to, let me pull up my geek study here. I didn't share my screen. Here we go. So what is balance? And I guess I could zoom in a little bit here. So what is balance? Balance is a patented blend of 7 different plant-based fibers. And you'll see vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, folic acid, which is B9, B12, biotin. It's a full multivitamin. It's pretty amazing. Now, why does this really matter? This study right here, this is from PubMed, National Institutes for Health, fiber and multivitamin combination therapy. They looked at, does that matter? And they specifically studied BioSlife. Now, that study was actually done at the Cleveland Clinic. Now, the Cleveland Clinic are the ones that invented the heart stent. They are widely perceived to be the top metabolic scientist. And if you wanted to read this study right here, you can find it at unicityscience.org. The other thing you can do is go over to PubMed, like I did here, and you can go to the link down here, the meta.2002. You can go there, and then you can download the full script, or you can just go to unicityscience.org. So here it is. This is the full study. It was done at the Cleveland Clinic, more specifically the preventative cardiology section of the Cleveland Clinic. It was done in 2001. It was published in 2002. This was peer-reviewed. It was published. It's been cited more than 20 times. It is a double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized clinical trial. And what they found was that BioSlife lowered the LDL cholesterol. There was improvements in total cholesterol, everything. Really, there were improvements. And they concluded such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. So we've got proof, really, that it lowers cholesterol. It helps to lower cholesterol. Now, let's dig a little bit further. Dr. Tiffany was talking about the glycemic index there for a moment. This is an article I found at Mayo Clinic. And all it is a write-up on what is really the glycemic index. Well, the glycemic index ranks foods on a scale from 0 to 100. The low end of the scale has foods that have little effect on blood sugar levels. The high end of the scale has foods with a big effect on blood sugar levels. And so if we just scroll down, they're kind enough to tell us kind of what low is. Low are foods like green vegetables, most fruits, raw carrots, kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils. High glycemic index are things like white rice, white bread, and potatoes. And I would argue that here in the United States, we have those like 3 meals a day, right? I mean, we literally have white bread as toast in the morning. We have it on our burger or our sandwich at lunch. Then we have it as a dinner roll at dinner. And then we have potatoes, hash browns, French fries, and then a baked potato or a mashed potato, something like that. We overconsume those high glycemic index foods. Now, why am I spending so much time on the glycemic index? Well, if you go to glycemicindex.com, it will take you to the University of Sydney, Australia. If you go to the University of Sydney, Australia and hit the About section, it will take you, Dr. Tiff, you can see this screen, right? Yeah, there we go. It will take you here, and it talks about her. This is Professor Jenny Brand-Miller. She is an internationally recognized authority on carbohydrates and the glycemic index with over 250 scientific publications. Well, here's the deal. Dr. Jenny Brand-Miller studied the effects of BioSlife. This is her work at the University of Sydney, Australia for Unicity International. And she looked specifically at white bread, white rice, and potatoes. And she found that in each case, it lowered the glycemic index from high to medium. It basically took a bad food and made it better. And she wasn't done there. She studied it a second time. This, by the way, was July of 2011. It's not new. This is nearly 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, this study, they gave test patients white bread, which is a 100 in the glycemic index, and then observed their glucose. But they gave them either 1 or 2 servings of BioSlife. And when they gave them 1 serving of BioSlife, they found a 20% reduction in blood glucose levels. 2 servings was a 28% reduction in blood. Those are huge numbers, 20 to 28% reductions in blood glucose. So what that means is before every meal, I drink a balance. There you go. It's so simple. Before you drink your meal, or before you eat your meal, you drink a balance. Mm-hmm. And what it does is it lessens the glycemic load of the food. Science proves it. It also lowers the blood glucose levels. But because we've been a little bit misguided, we need to be looking at the insulin levels. Well, Dr. Jenny Brand-Miller knew that. And she looked at the blood insulin levels and found a 13 to 27% reduction in those. Those are, again, just absolutely massive numbers. Now, we're not done yet. I want to talk about this guy right here. This is Professor Benjamin Bikman, Dr. Ben Bikman. He is a professor of cell biology and physiology at Brigham Young University. This is his profile at BYU. Now, you'll notice his research interests. The focus of my lab, which is the Laboratory of Obesity and Metabolism, and then he pays particular emphasis on the etiology of insulin resistance. That's what he does. He studies insulin resistance. In fact, he's been teaching about this for like 14, 15 years now. Look at all these courses that he's taught on this topic. And then his publications. The guy's been published like more than 30 times on this topic of insulin resistance. You just go through these and you'll see, you know, the connection to insulin resistance. That's what he talks about all the time. In fact, he's number 1 in the world. And I want to give a little plug for him. I have no affiliation with Dr. Ben Bikman directly. I'm a big fanboy of his. He has a website called insuliniq.com. I think everybody should become a member of that. And then he's also got a book called Why We Get Sick. Now, Dr. Tiffany, you're going through the coaching certification with him, aren't you? Are you done with that yet?
Oh, I'm done. I'm certified.
You're certified. So you are a coach for Insulin IQ.
Uh-huh.
I love it. Okay. So this is what, I mean, these are the types of people that go in and they will help you with your insulin. He's also got a book, as I said, Why We Get Sick. And then he's got a cookbook. If you're curious about food ideas, he's got a cookbook called How Not to Get Sick.
Mhm.
Great books. Okay, so with that in mind, this guy, let me get my little page up here. Where's it at? I got too many open windows, Tiff. Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got so many open windows. There it is. No, that's not it.
Well, he's the only one we see. You know, I fangirl over him all the time.
I know it. Dang it. Where did I put this at?
Oh no! Oh
I've got way too many open windows. It would drive you nuts. I know it would. It would absolutely drive you nuts. Well, commercial break.
Oh no! Well, here's the copy. Oh, you got it. Okay, I was showing them the book.
Anyway, I don't know where I put it. Well,
why we get to?
Here it is. Found it.
Good.
Okay. So this study right here. Look at all the windows. Can you see all the window tabs that I have open up top there?
No.
Oh, you can't? There's like 50. So this study right here was done in October of 2023. Yerba mate supplement exerts beneficial tissue-specific effects on mitochondrial efficiency and redox status in healthy adult mice. This was done by Dr. Ben Bickman at Brigham Young University in his laboratory of obesity and metabolism. And you'll notice the mate, let's see, it's down to materials and methods. The mate that he used was Unicides Unimate. And this study basically found that it increased the efficiency at which we burn fat, simply put. But an observation that Dr. Bickman made while doing this research, I want to play this for you.
That I'll be sharing at a meeting in March in Las Vegas is that this yerba mate supplement called Unimate also increases GLP-1. We found in this experiment we did, the GLP-1 levels went up by about 70% in a fasted states, which is pretty considerable. So
Dr. Tiffany was talking about GLP-1. Well, Dr. Ben Bickman found that this tea right here increased GLP-1 production by up to 70% during a fasted state. I'm drinking it right now. It is 7 o'clock, 6:52 here in Colorado. I'm drinking my Unimate. I drink it all day long. It's amazing. So there is science behind this. So how do we do this? What's the practice? So you wake up in the morning. Right now I'm drinking it out of my Unicity bottle. But in the morning, I have a Yeti tumbler mug. I fill up this with 1 packet and hot water. I like it hot in the morning. You do you. If you like it cold, do it cold. They're going to send you a bottle when you order a kit. They're going to send you a little bottle, and it's got a Unimate line. It's got a balance line. They're going to send you the bottle, and you can drink it out of here if you'd like. I would drink it cold out of the plastic bottle. Don't drink it hot. Drink it out of there if you'd like, or you can get a bigger one occasionally, or do hot, cold, however you want. The biggest thing is you want to sip on the tea. You don't want to chug it. So kind of sip on it rather than drink it fast. When that one's gone, open a second one. Drink that one. You're going to find your appetite is going to go down. You're going to be able to stretch that fast longer. And then before your heaviest meal of the day, the same thing. It's got a line on the back that says balance. You're going to add your balance to here with cold water. Give it like 7 or 8 kind of aggressive shakes, and then drink it as fast as you can, and then enjoy your meal. Pair that with the intermittent fasting. That's it. That is it. It is so simple. 90-day money-back guarantee. Try this thing for 90 days. If you're not satisfied, you can ask for a refund. They'll give you all of your money back. But go into it with a 90-day mindset. Go into it with a 90-day mindset. You spent your life getting sick. Give yourself 3 months.
Wow.
Give them 3 months to try and help you out. Okay?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask one thing. I even went and got my book. Dr. Tiffany, what is this?
That's the physician's desk reference. That's the PDR.
What does this mean to you as a doctor, Dr. Tiffany?
Well, I used to get those books, and it used to get on my nerves because it'd be so many. But what they do is they tell you how to write prescriptions, the side effects, and you look up drugs. That was way before the digital age. But now you have the physician's digital reference that anybody can look up on the computer now. And so what's cool, which is why you brought it out, these products are in there. That is so cool. You can type in GNC products. They're not there. You can type in Herbalife. They're not there. I mean, that is one of the things that says, okay, we know we have some real stuff that's really doing some real things.
You can type in Metamucil. Metamucil's not there. And I like the Metamucil example because most people don't know that Metamucil is owned by Procter & Gamble. And I think we can all kind of agree that's like the definition of big pharma. Procter & Gamble, right? So Metamucil is not in there. And Procter & Gamble's a $90 billion a year company. Like, if they wanted, they could just buy this. It could be Procter & Gamble's PDR. But what they can't do is buy Metamucil into it.
Right.
That's a big deal. Okay, so let me bring back our guests. And I did have a question. I'm not glazing over it. I saw Mr. Hearn earlier, and I'm not going to go back and try and find it. We're just going to address it. Mr. Hearn asked the question, do I have to be on this for the rest of my life? Who wants to take that one?
I always say it's a personal decision, but as long as the government is tinkering with my food and 80% of the food that we eat today wasn't here 100 years ago, I'm going to take it for life.
I haven't heard that answer yet. That's a good one.
Me neither. I like that one.
The most important thing is give it 90 days, right? Give it 90 days. And if you're not satisfied after 90 days, ask for a refund. It's pretty simple. We'll give you all your money back. What other questions do we have? And if you've asked a question, has anybody kind of been glancing through? Did I miss any questions while we were while I was?
I didn't see any while you were.
And before we wrap it up this time, I want to ask our audience, Charles Quinn, this works, friends. It helped my numbers to return to normal after 3 months and continues to help me. If you would, if you're in the audience section and you have had, an experience with the products, would you do me a favor and just, I don't want you to elaborate on it. I don't want you to embellish, but if you wouldn't mind, give us just a one little paragraph about what the products have done for you. If you don't mind, everybody who's anybody who's listening right now. And then is there anybody else that has any other questions? Bill, I think you specifically asked if you have to take this for the rest of your life.
Okay, so the answer is no, you don't have to. If you actually reverse your lifestyle, the reality is, just like Carolyn said, as the foods are going to keep being tinkered with, as we're going to keep having the screwed up modern environment, you're going to find you're going to want to keep using these products. But when you actually reverse your insulin resistance, no, you don't have to. But we feel so great on this tea. We're like, why stop?
Right.
Look at this. Kristen, reversed my type 2, off all meds, down 45 pounds. Kim Carr, I will always take this product. It has helped me in so many ways. Lost 41 pounds since the end of January. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah.
Natasha, less joint pain. Doyle, I've only been on the product for 3 weeks and I've lost about 12 to 15 pounds and I have more energy. I sleep better and I'm dreaming. You know what? That one, I know Belinda is in the audience right now, and
Yes.
Belinda has a big story on reversing sleep apnea. So, Okay. Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep on going through and highlighting these as we.
Ooh, A1C
Teresa
down.
I'm a lifer.
Yes.
Carolyn, there are a lot of people who are skeptical, rightfully so. There's so much snake oil in the marketplace. If you were talking to one of those people, because there's somebody in the audience right now who is skeptical, 30 seconds, what do you say to that person?
To me. So I would say to that person, 90-day money back guarantee. You don't have anything to lose. But, you've been doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results, that's insanity. If you're still in the same spot you were before, then that means that what you're doing is not working. So now it's time to try something different. And like I said, it's a 90-day money back guarantee. You don't have anything to lose. Just try it. I did.
I did. Same thing to you, Denise.
Well, I was thinking the same thing she said. Then there's nothing to lose. The 90-day money back guarantee. So why not try it and see if it works?
Look at this. Bev, customer testimony today, cholesterol from mid 200 to 131.
Wow.
Lost 12 pounds, less thyroid meds, less than 6 weeks. I stay amazed. I have less skin tags, no longer snacking.
Mhm.
Folks, I will never look back. Got my blood work results all. There we go. Okay. Carolyn, Denise, thank you so much for coming onto our live streams.
Thank you.
Onto our live stream, and I appreciate your time. You guys are wonderful.
So are you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Dr.
It's a
Tiffany,
team.
this was an amazing one. I really enjoyed this. And I want to say Dr. Tiffany was kind of wanting me to say something last week, and I didn't. And I'm disappointed, but I kind of brought it up earlier in this one. This live stream across all the different platforms gets way into the thousands of views every single week. It's really kind of cool. So whatever platform you're on, you might only see a handful of people, but like right now, it's streaming on Dr. Tiffany's profile page, my profile page, the Healthy Pit Masters profile page. It's streaming on 3 different Facebook pages. So what you're seeing right there might not be totally accurate as far as what's actually being streamed. Okay. Okay. So, Dr. Tiff, closing remarks. God, you're amazing.
Yeah.
We are so grateful for you. So grateful.
Oh, I appreciate you. And I love these products. So that's why I'm here. I don't charge for this. Now, outside of this, I charge. But I love these products so much. I'll do this on my free time, my extra time. You know what? My lasting thing, Life Coach Sherry said something. She said, I wish I would have had these for my deceased parents. And that's exactly it. I am only a superhero because I'm a self-proclaimed superhero because of my backstory with my father passing and with him not having anything to be able to take. He wanted to do something natural. I didn't know what to tell him. All I knew what to tell him was to take the prescriptions. He died after his 3rd stroke. So I literally get up here, say these things over and over and over again to stop you all from having somebody in your family. This is something that is saving lives. If you know someone, reach out to them. Show them this live. It's all recorded. You can find it. It's on our Facebook Lives, playing for 30 days. You can see it. Share this live to save these loved ones in your life.
Linda, we love you right back.
Yes, yes.
You got nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Yes.
Try this stuff for 90 days. If you're not satisfied, ask for a refund. There's too much snake oil out there. I get it. Everybody's been burned. Everybody's tried to find something. I get it. Totally get it. In fact, when I started this, I was about as skeptical as they get. You know what? Scams don't give you your money back. Scams don't give you your money back. So
they sure don't.
Give it 90 days. When you start this, go into it with a 90-day mindset. Adhere to it. You heard Denise earlier say, I don't veer off course. I do this every single day. And what amazing results. Be consistent with the products and you will get results. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Make life better. Unicity's slogan is make life better. And this product line is called the Feel Great System. What if we just made your life better and you started feeling great? Dr. Tiffany, you are amazing. I will see you next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
That's it. See you,
That's
Dr.
it.
Tiff.
That's all we got. Thanks, man.